world has more secrets than we could possibly imagine.
So I'm going to start with a question for all three of you.
Okay.
Name the duo in this movie. Is it Godzilla and Kong as frenemies in this movie? They team up, or is it Kong and Baby Kong?
You're asking the tough questions this morning, Nikki Novak.
It was a choice? We had to choose a duo?
You can say both.
Both are equally appealing, right?
Yeah.
Because then you get to see Kong not be alone, because we're also dealing with a lot of themes in this movie, right? We're dealing with family. We're dealing with isolation, loneliness between Trapper and Bernie. We're dealing with codependency. We're dealing with, like, there's all these layers of
child rearing.
Yeah, we're dealing with PTSD.
Identity.
So I think for me, Mini Kong and Kong is the story that I think is essential, because if it wasn't for the battle between Godzilla and Kong at first, Kong would never really know how to love. And so now, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so now,
Turn this into a tearjerker.
I'm in a lot of therapy. So this is like, I know exactly what tools to take out of this toolbox. And I'm gonna say that Godzilla and Mini Kong is the way to go. He wants to be a dad, a surrogate dad to this young kid who's been in this abusive relationship. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. I think it's Mini Kong.
That was impressive. Okay, Dan.
Uh-oh.
I saw you eating those banana chips. And I was like, that was a bold and fantastic choice. What a way to come into the franchise. Ace Ventura, was this all an actor choice, or was this written in the script?
I feel like we're starting a line of foods from this movie. We had kaiju sausage just now, banana chips. Yeah, Trapper's banana chips. He likes to snack.
He does.
Trapper's a snacker. If you're going to go to Hollow Earth, make sure you bring snacks. It's really,
Bernie said that.
I think that's true on any mission.
Any long journey.
Yeah.
I also think it says a lot about a person who, in the face of crisis, can snack. And I think that was Trapper's thing. Like, he was just like, it's not, this is,
he's not fazed by much, Trapper. He's seen it all. And yeah, I think it helps balance Bernie, who is, maybe having a little harder time with some of the extreme things that are happening in Hollow Earth. Seeing Trapper just calmly
respond to crisis by snacking.
Yeah, he's a stress
minimizing
eater.
it.
Stress eater is what was it?
I can relate. I have banana chips behind the camera right now.
Right.
And that's why you brought it up. You want to snack.
I'm a stress eater. I'm definitely a stress eater. But I did appreciate the Ace Ventura Pet Detective reference. I just want to say that was a fantastic shirt that you wore throughout, and probably wore many, many days on set.
Yes.
Two things you guys got to do as actors that I thought were super cool is, number one, going to Hollow Earth. Like, what is that like on the day when you're all sitting there as actors, like simulating, or are you being simulated?
So let's unpack the Heave, which is what we were in. The vehicle which
what does
transport.
it stand for again?
I don't remember.
Hollow Earth.
Artillery
vehicle.
So I thought that Heave was what we were supposed to do when we got in it, because like
it is also what you were made to do.
What you were made to do, because it's on these different, what do they call it? The hydraulics.
Hydraulic rig.
It's like the thing you go on in a theme park when you do the
simulator.
And we thought that. We were like, yo, when this movie comes out, maybe this will be a ride somewhere. And then after we filmed it, we were like, we don't ever want to get on this
because
again.
you do a ride for 5 minutes, if that. Maybe 30 seconds. You don't do it all day long.
And there'd be some days that we couldn't get out of the Heave. We'd be stuck in the Heave. We'd be strapped in this Heave.
Also,
we're tossing.
To be clear, they have a screen, like an IMAX wraparound screen in front of us, so it's giving us Hollow Earth and visuals to respond to, so it feels like you're actually flying.
I also appreciated the slow-mo hero walk that you all got.
I didn't get one. They got it, and I was like, I really want it. And then I'm coming out running. I said, oh, man. But that day was cool. I remember standing there, and I was like, oh, man.
Smoke.
Because all I ever wanted was a slow-motion walk.
Flight suits.
Truly, all I ever wanted was a slow-motion walk, and I was that close. But, I mean, it's fine.
They should give you a solo.
Oh, man. I just
Next time.
Oh.
So I talked to you the last time that you were in one of these films. I'm wondering this time for you, how do you think your character has evolved, and how has her relationship with Kong changed?
I think that Gia has grown up. She's become a young adult. We see how she's grown up in the movie. we see how each teen goes through struggles when they grow up. And so Gia is trying to find that balance. Sometimes she doesn't understand things that are going on, and that's a little bit difficult, but with the help of Kong, it's easy. But at the end, she's able to understand where she's from, and her and Kong have the same connection, the same feelings.
And could you relate? Because you've grown up a lot since the last one.
Yeah. I think that a lot has happened to her, and she can't control some of those things. For better or worse, you know, they have happened. But for me, I'm also in a journey. I'm doing acting, and I'm doing these movies, and I'm having great experiences. So I'm also on my own journey, just like Gia is on her own journey.
In the movie, you have a really, really cool fort in your bedroom. It's like a little tent. So I'm wondering if it was that cool on the day, if it looked that cool, if you kind of explored it. And then do you, in your life, have an escape or a cool place that you go to when you just need a little bit of, you know, alone time?
I think my bedroom would probably be my fortress, if you will. It's not as cool as Gia's, of course, but it doesn't have a fort with lights or anything. But when I saw Gia's, when I walked onto set, I was like, wow, that is so nice. It's very pretty too. So I thought that her fort was very cool.
It was very cool. I'm wondering if you appreciated the fact that Godzilla is very pink in this movie, and I think Godzilla is definitely in its Barbie era.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was cool.
Okay, so I'm wondering, Kong sort of gets like new friends and new family in this movie, frenemies maybe with Godzilla, and then Baby Kong, this new sort of like father-son relationship. So which do you think was the cooler duo?
I think Kong and Godzilla, because there's only one king, you know, but they have to work together. It's a powerful duo, so I think that's very cool.
Did you shoot in the rainforest for this?
Yeah.
What was that experience like? What was the best and worst part about shooting in the rainforest?
I always wanted to go into the jungle during the rain, and I would go, and it was so beautiful and natural, but the worst part is when I was in my suit, it was so hot because it was hot at the same time there. So I would have to run a lot with a jacket on, and that was the worst. But it was so beautiful seeing the rainforest.
Kong can't stop this on his own.
He won't be alone.
Adam, the movie was so rad. Can I just tell you, I know pink is your favorite color. Pink is my favorite color. And I appreciate that Godzilla got his Barbie moment in this film.
Well, you know, who would have thought that, you know, when we made this movie, we had never heard of Barbie. We had never, you know, we didn't know Oppenheimer was being made. And, you know, sure enough, we ended up creating the physical embodiment of the Barbenheimer meme with a pink Godzilla. So, you know, weird cultural zeitgeist coming to a head there.
So this is a very good time in the world to be a Godzilla fan. And I know you just had a chat with Yamazaki Takashi, and Godzilla, baby, won his first Oscar. So I just wanted to know sort of your reaction to Godzilla sort of being in the award season universe, and your biggest takeaway from your conversation with him, and maybe your biggest geek out moment at -1.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, just jumping right into my conversation with Yamazaki, I mean, like one of the things I was most excited about is, you know, how, you know, we were both asked, you know, what classic Toho monster would we like to see realized with modern technology, and both of us picked Hedorah, which is the smog monster from the 70s film. And that's a pretty obscure one, so I was excited that we were both kind of on the same page. I was actually surprised how similar we were in a lot of ways, because our movies are so dissimilar. I mean, the tone of his film is drastically different, the approach, but the love of the characters in the world and Godzilla himself is all the same, and we just have different approaches to it. So it's such a great time to be a fan of Godzilla. I mean, it's, you know, having been in this series of the MonsterVerse for almost 7 years now, it's really amazing to just see how culturally significant the characters really become as time has gone on, and can mean so many different things, and have so many different interpretations running concurrently. And that's what's great about Godzilla, is that he's been a good guy, he's been a bad guy, he's been, you know, a character, a metaphor, everything all at once, and so you know, it's. I think that's also what keeps him fresh, is that it's always changing, but at the core of it, we always understand it's the same character.
Yeah, and I'm wondering for you, Scar King, like why was Scar King such a great choice for you? I mean, you sort of have referenced that this film is like your Fast Five. So how did you outdo yourself in the choice of villains and choosing the monsters in this film? And are there any in the future that you still want to explore, assuming you're going to get your trilogy?
There's definitely other ones that that I think that the MonsterVerse will get into and explore in the future. You know, with this film, it was important that because a lot of the drive of the film was going to be Kong's personal story of him finding others of his kind in Hollow Earth, you know, we needed to create a villain that was sort of an anti-Kong. And what's interesting about that is that Kong has never really had an arch nemesis before. I mean, if you go back to all of his films, he's never had, like, in the same way that, you know, Godzilla's got, you know, Ghidorah and, you know, Batman's got Joker. It's, you know, Kong has never really had that. So the Scar King was an interesting character to develop because we wanted to give him sort of, you know, his arch nemesis. In terms of, like, classic Toho characters, I mean, you know, we still managed to get quite a bit of those in here, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see which ones will come up in the future.
I guess that makes Kong Dom Toretto.
That's right.